thanks for listening, guys. And please, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media. All the stuff Ray usually talks about, I'm bringing it up. We also have a Patreon. If you want to throw us a couple bucks, we'd appreciate it. Just go. Really, all that money goes towards is not fattening our pockets right now because the contributions are tiny, but the contributions that we are getting are going towards more content, going towards better hosting sites and shit for us to get stuff to you. So, we're not, getting drunk off of the 14 pennies you send our way. We're trying to make something of it. And Ray's probably going to cut all that because
Welcome to Cinekuest Video.
Someone's trying to kill me! Please, go drive now!
I'm Miles, and this is the story of the worst day of my life.
Another schism.
Schism picked random psychos, weirdos, and criminals and made them fight each other to the death. So the internet loved it. And then I came into the picture.
You scared yet?
Welcome to Schism.
They bolted these things to my hands.
They have my girlfriend.
And some psycho is trying to kill me.
I'm not a fighter. I'm a nobody. Hey, I need help.
Oh, it's one thing to say you can't face violence, but when it faces you, you better be ready. When the shit goes down, you better be ready. You better be ready.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Stop shooting at me!
I gotta kill you. Schism said they would wipe my slate clean.
No, Schism is gonna kill us both. No!
I have a plan. It is totally suicidal, but it might work.
Get out of the car, please. Come on. Please get out. Thank you. Thank you very much. Sorry.
Oh, of course.
Did I win?
Welcome to Cinekuest Video, episode number 53 officially. On this episode, we're going to be talking about the movie Guns Akimbo. And before we get into it, I'm your host, Ray, and then we have by the left side...
this is Roland.
We're in his Nowhere Man Studios currently.
Right. My Nowhere Man Cave.
Studios, yes.
Studio.
And then the Pacific Northwest division of MoQuest.
Yes, this is Daniel, and I must be upset with my staff here because they decided to spend too much money at the local brewery instead of grabbing a 15-pack of Founders All Day IPA. So I've got a net loss financially right now, and I'm just trying to figure out how to scrape the pennies together in the MoQuest budget to make up for that.
Yep.
It's funny, Daniel, that the staff at the Pacific Northwest Studios treat you way better than the studios here at Nowhere Man. Because right now I'm drinking a Fiji water that I purchased myself.
I know.
Well,
yeah.
I just try to train good people that can anticipate my needs.
We have a few items to offer our guests, that visit us here in Nowhere Man Cave Studios.
But the staff here bought that bottle of vodka weeks ago.
Some people are picky bitches and they don't want what we offer. Some people have allergies.
The staff here have really dropped the ball on the beverages around here.
Yeah, my green room.
I'll drop some goddamn cranberry juice in your beverage just to watch you struggle for breath, motherfucker.
Oh shit, man!
I have to make them, but it's there for me.
And I also want to make this point clear that the water is lukewarm.
Yes.
There's no coolness to it, no refreshment.
It's not even room temp.
So is it lukewarm or luke cool?
You know what? I'm just gonna say room temp, which is I guess the temperature around here is what in the
very
70s.
Medium. Yeah, 70.
And we do, of course, when we record, we can't have the air conditioner going because
So
it would
it's
just
gonna
leak
ramp
through
up
the
hot as fuck in here.
Well, it would leak through the audio. So we have a light fan going on above us, and so the temperature is going to drop a bit, but we will suffer through the heat.
Yes.
And the uncomfortableness because we want to give you the best audio quality we can.
Right.
The listener.
There we go.
I can't say
turn it into a positive. Right?
I can't very well say that the content is going to be fantastic, but at least the audio quality will be right up there in the professional state.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Had either of you guys seen this movie or heard of it before?
Roland, I heard it from you. You're the one who brought it up.
Okay.
I haven't. You know what? I'd seen a trailer roughly, but I had no idea what it was.
So before this movie title got announced for us to do, the only exposure I had to Guns Akimbo, I didn't even know the fucking title of it, but it was like during the production of the movie, and they had stills of Daniel Radcliff running around in fucking dinosaur slippers and a fucking robe with guns on his hands. Yep. And I was like, intriguing, Mr. Potter.
I caught those off of Comic Book Resources website.
But I didn't know anything about, like, I don't know if this is like because there's a lens in it where there's like a comic book that comes out of the events of this story.
Yeah.
And so I'm not sure if Guns Akimbo is actually a comic out there or if this was just it's just short story or like what the base was for this, because it sounds like something that was like, written before and then somebody picked up like, a novel or something or a graphic novel and went, oh, this is a cool story. We should, monetize on this.
Right. Well, I mean,
Harry Potter for it.
When this movie started, I immediately got reminded of Total Recall, the movie Total Recall. Game show, people watching it, people battling each other to the death. Like I was like, is this basically Total Recall for
the new
generation? But I mean, there's obviously some similarities, but also goes off into a different plot.
I thought this kind of like watching this, it sort of reminded me of like a cross between Hardcore. Is it Harry or Henry? I always forget. I think it's Hardcore Harry and The Wanted.
Oh shit! Didn't Gerard Butler star in that movie or whatever?
In Hardcore Harry?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't think
because wasn't he like the dude that was being controlled or whatever in the game?
No. You're thinking of a different one, dude. This is the one that was basically called like GoPro the movie, and where like you only see things from the perspective of the main character.
But wasn't the actor for that fucking
Butler? That one you're talking about, I think was that like that one was just called like The Gamer or some dumb shit. I never checked that one out. Hold on.
Yeah, but I remember that fucking Hardcore Harry bullshit. It was like an FPS come to the big screens or whatever.
GoPro the movie. Yeah, the movie that you're talking about is just called Flat Out Gamer, and it came out in 2009.
Oh, word.
I never watched it because it just looked like ass. But
I haven't seen either. Just trying to.
Yeah. So no, Hardcore Harry came out just like a few years ago. I think it was in like 2015.
I remember the title, but I guess I don't remember what the fuck it was about.
It didn't really have a plot necessarily. Just you. It's from the first person perspective of a guy that like ends up losing his memories and being like sort of created as like a sort of a superhuman cyborg, and he just goes in there like trying to figure things out and just starts beating the fuck out of people and figuring out it's kind of like watching Pineapple Express, actually, like where everything is like an action scene or whatever, and you're just like, okay, let's get through this event, and then like, all right, now we're going to the next one. It's like there was like it's like a nonstop fucking action,
on your riveting review, I think I'll take a pass on that movie.
Oh no, like it's not a great movie. It's amusing. A montage. That's what I meant to say. But so,
I mean, I've heard of that Hardcore Henry stuff, and I wasn't very interested in watching it. But just because I think I could take like maybe like a short film version of that, but like an hour and a half. Like I don't think I could do it. Though.
I was glad.
And probably the same for the movie that I was trying to think that he was talking about, that gamer movie.
Yeah, it was worse. Wait, where's
That sounds like a short film rather than let's go full feature length. Dump, way too much money on it. Bullshit.
Yeah. Hold on. Let me check out. IMDb. Oh, don't tell my internet's going shitty. In the future mind-controlling game, death row convicts are forced to battle in a Doom-type environment. This is in the description. They used Doom. Convict Cable, with a K, Doom. Controlled by Simon, a skilled teenage gamer, must survive 30 sessions in order to be set free. That's Gerard Butler's character, I guess.
All right.
Sounds like ass, but so...
did you guys? I wasn't necessarily familiar with the term "guns akimbo" was referring to.
I had to look it up, man.
Yeah, Roland, you want to give us like the lowdown on what that means for the audience?
I do. Yeah, because language is interesting, and akimbo was not a term I was familiar with.
Yeah, me either.
So the most popular usage is the disappointed spouse stance, hands on hip.
Yeah.
So that's like the first usage of akimbo. Then a secondary usage is dual wielding.
Right.
Which is what Daniel Radcliffe's character ends up doing.
Yep.
And I can't remember the third and fourth usage of the fucking term, but I thought it was interesting that they picked a word for this movie title that had a secondary use in the English language rather than figure out some other term that would actually, fucking would encapsulate that feeling without having to grab a secondary usage of a term that isn't very often used. Because guns akimbo or gun akimbo, if it was like the first usage, it'd be like guns on the side of the hips, just hanging out. But they're more referring to the dual wielding, and I'm not sure what's out there in the English language, but I assumed there was a better term for it rather than trying to sound sexy and foreign with using akimbo.
Well, I mean, you think like this movie could actually have both terms, have both definitions being used for this, because since he has the two guns and they're on his hands, and I mean they're kind of like at his, like, I don't know,
his
like
hips and his like pockets
they're
the
his side,
time.
yeah, they're in his pockets the whole time.
It's a passive thing.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a direct.
Okay, I can see that.
The dual
I don't
meanings
know
for
if
this
I
particular.
agree with it, but I can see it.
Got that.
I mentioned to Bryce that we were gonna do this recording, and he was like, I go, do you know what akimbo means? And he's like, oh yeah, like, and he told me the definition. I was like, well, look at this smart motherfucker over here. Like,
look who's good with words.
You're not even like watching this movie, and you already know what the fuck it's about.
Look at you, motherfucker! You read a book
in a bookstore. Way to go!
You had a dictionary, you motherfucker.
Holy shit!
Unless I told him beforehand and he prepared, waiting for me to ask the question just to see if he would know. Knowing Bryce, he probably did do that.
Probably.
I don't know. That sounds like way too much effort for old Brycey.
Oh, I don't know if you're aware of like the amounts of effort that Bryce would go to not seem dumb, I guess, or to seem like he knows.
Not seem dumb.
I'm not saying that Bryce is dumb. I'm not saying that at all.
No, I just meant like that sentence was.
I know it seems like I'm implying that I'm dumb.
That's a good sentence.
Yeah, but I don't mean that.
No. We're not worried about the implication. We're talking about.
And Bryce,
you very listening. You're very
this
good
episode
with
is dedicated
words,
to you.
Yes,
Bryce Akimbo.
So Roland, what possessed you to want us to watch this movie?
So I had forgotten about it largely for quite a while. The first things I had seen was what Daniel had mentioned, like a still shot of Daniel Radcliffe.
Actually, the proper use for that term is sod.
Sod. Saint.
Yeah, I sawed it.
Suck it. I'd seen it.
Saint.
The clip, I guess, of Daniel Radcliffe, wearing the what are those, like bare feet slippers or whatever, and like the bathrobe.
Dude, no, it was like dinosaur feet, dude. That he was
are
wearing.
they? I thought they were bears. Like they looked like they had claws on the end or whatever, or they were like brown.
Roland.
Yes.
Dinosaurs,
but they were
like
also
birds,
furry.
talons, pretty much like claws. fuck you.
Ish. I mean, again, furry and brown.
What's the ish? Please
ish.
tell me. What is the ish? I'm challenging you just
fur.
like in Beyond Reanimator.
The fur.
Like, how can you make that movie better? You said anything.
Lizard no have hair. Lizard are skin. Words still
because
good.
What?
Word's still good.
I said lizard no have hair, lizard have skin. So there. It was furry. And brown like a bear. So there. Bare feet.
I think I actually just like the guy from fucking that Sandler movie where Billy Madison. I am now dumber for hearing what you just said. Good. And so is our audience.
Mission accomplished.
Thanks for pushing the status quo a little further along there, buddy.
That's what I'm here for. So, yeah, I saw those stills and I thought it was interesting.
Saint?
No. And there was a couple trailers at some point that I may have watched.
Sawed?
Never.
You may have sawed them, I know.
And then I forgot about it. And then I saw it on Seesawed on Amazon that it was available and seemed convenient.
But yeah, I just this movie is intriguing because of the kind of the wacky plot for it. Like I never looked up like apart from the like Amazon description of what this movie's about. I didn't look it up beforehand. And I think even the Amazon description doesn't do this movie justice. But I watched the fucking film, saw what the Amazon thought they should say about it, and it kind of lined up because it was like, you know, this dude's trying to save his ex-girlfriend or whatever. And like, yeah, that's part of it, but there's this whole like crazy, like Samara Weaving, you know, tangents.
Oh, right. She has her side story. And
which is, it's hollow, I think.
Well, yeah,
like it wasn't done well.
It's very, very like
it was very like lazy
very
writing
light.
Almost.
Oh yeah, the whole movie is very, very light on plot. It's pretty much like it's mostly just meant to be like how it's described as an action comedy.
Okay, so basic plot of this movie got a kind of everyday dude who works as a coder at
Social justice warrior troll internet troll. Oh, he works
to play kind of game.
Yeah, he's a programmer at a shitty game company, and I like how
it's
they
like
portrayed that
Candy Crush kind of equivalent or whatever.
Yeah, it's he calls it a chipmunk but it's a squirrel or something like that.
It's a squirrel, yeah. It's a squirrel. Or he calls it a chipmunk though. It's a squirrel.
It was amusing because of how like they portrayed the whole like work environment. That's very much like how a video game company is. Like it can be a really shitty job, and like you have really crappy fucking bosses that are there like breathing down your neck. And
well, the boss.
I've read and seen a shitload of these, you know, just movies describing how like video game company culture.
Movies. Mm-hmm. So fantasy.
No, like documentaries or YouTube.
Oh, that's different. Should have come with that to begin with.
I ain't watching it. Oh, you mean because I watched Grandma's Boy, okay, and like that explained everything for me at that point. That was all I needed.
Okay, I'm done. See you guys.
That was easy.
The boss is kind of a dick.
He's
obviously,
he goes in trying to figure out that boss's role. Like, is
he doesn't even seem like
he's
more
than
than
a trainer they found at Gold's Gym.
So
motivating.
He almost seems just like a supervisor.
No, he is. That's what he is. He's he's more likely an executive. So he's just there to like breathe down everyone's neck and tell them to do shit. Like while he's off, like, you know, doing his own, making millions and
doing
like
push-ups or whatever.
Right. Like coming from the gym or whatever, or crushing puss or like whatever the fuck. Like he's very much one of those like farmer bro kind of personalities.
Dude, so do you think he's Cobra Kai?
Yeah.
So anyway, like, every day kind of run of the mill, like borderline alcoholic programmer dude is played by Daniel Radcliffe.
But when we found out that he's like a troll, right?
He's a troll. I was about to get into that. Yeah,
he's so like a Reddit
he basically
troll
goes
or a
home.
4chan troll.
He hates his life. He recognizes for what it is. He's like, dude, I just like kind of like punch in, punch out, waste my time after work until I have to punch in again. But he's an internet troll, so he goes on to like various streams and shit.
Like an SJW troll.
Plays keyboard warrior. You guys are disgusting. Yeah, I'm from my fucking tower of righteousness. Yeah.
I thought at some point he was gonna start jerking off, like when people were like responding to him.
Yeah,
I thought he was gonna start getting like, oh.
At one point, He's like, yeah, hate me.
Yeah, yes. Respond to me.
So, coder by day, troll by night, and we may have skipped part of the opening scenes of the movie because you have that like message from Riktor, who we find out his name later, but he's all like CGI'd out, like he's like a computer program speaking to the populace,
like an edgy anonymous.
And I can't remember what the fuck he said because I didn't turn my fucking subtitles on and my hearing sucks. So
man, I had him on and I still don't remember what the fuck he was saying. Like it was just some bullshit. Like, you losers like living in your box, but like, you need to experience the true life with us, you pansies, and I don't know what, like society's trash, and all you like is action, all you like is murder. Check this out, like, and then that's when they play the fucking
And so
when you get introduced to Schism
organization that Riktor, who's like the main bad in this movie, represents, is called Schism.
Yeah,
which is a fun name, trying to force a schism into society or whatever. I'm not sure what their motivations, but it was a cool name.
Just some like edgy and counterculture bullshit.
One night, our favorite troll, Daniel Radcliffe, who plays a character named Miles in the movie, he decides to troll on Schism's stream. And what Schism does is that they, through various means, they hire, for lack of a better term, or coerce people into death matches.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they have a whole network of drones following these people around, and there's viewers. I'm not sure how they can make money, because if you were to like PayPal towards that, wouldn't you be an accessory to murder?
I mean, yes.
I'm not sure. Like, I'm not sure. Like the end game, like all this viewership for all these like badass like one-on-one murders.
Yeah. Well,
but there doesn't seem to be a way to capitalize on it. Yet they have to keep feeding all the grunts in their army, feeding all the coders, feeding the bosses
or whatever. Those fucking what is that shit called again?
Well, I mean, we find out later that. This one giving away too much.
Obviously, this would be on the dark net
because I mean, I think the way they keep this stuff going, and of course the fact that there may or may not, the viewers may or may not be accessories to murder, is that we do find out later that everyone's in on it. So it's a whole organization beyond just
they own the cops. They own,
it's like an organized
local governments and shit. Yeah,
organized.
Yeah, so I mean, the money's coming in regardless if they are they own all these people.
Yeah, it's not clear how they acquire money off of the enterprise, because I mean they own the police force, they own the fucking judges and all this shit. But they never say judges, but they say they do own the cops.
And we find out that their streaming numbers are like in the low thousands in the very beginning, right?
Right.
Yeah, they're not very high
until Miles.
Yeah, until Miles shows up, and then it goes into the millions.
Maybe they have a lot of ads that they air.
Yeah, by the end of this fucking movie, all of the trials and tribulations Harry Potter goes through have reached 10 million concurrent views.
Like they're just watching the second main character or whatever, played by Samara Weaving.
Yeah,
like the other girl we just watched from Bill and Ted. She played what?
Nyx.
In this one she was Nyx. And she's just there like shooting people, and like all of a sudden you see.
I think she's like the star killer.
Yeah, she is
for them.
For them,
and I think they're.
Well, I mean, the film opens up with a match between her and some random dude.
Yeah.
Or
Dudes,
in a chart, they're in a chase scene or whatever. And, and then that's when ad 1 of 5 comes up on the screen, and that's how they make their money. It's like fleshlights or whatever, or like off-brand Viagra, or boner pills. Stuff they can't trace.
So there's this crazy death game that the Schism organization is supporting, and one night on his normal trolling of just drinking beer and talking shit on the internet,
he takes it too far. Apparently,
gets messaged back by an admin from Schism,
right?
And next thing he knows, he's got the, as he calls them, like the end bosses from Streets of Rage in his apartment.
Because they get his IP address and he's like, oh shit, he freaks out and closes his laptop.
When they flash that on and he fucking loses his shit.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
And so they know where he is.
How long did it take him to get to the door? He fell asleep, right? Because we find out that he has.
Yeah, he crashed out, had that dream.
Well, the girl texted him,
with his ex or whatever.
Yeah. Did we know it was his ex? Because I wasn't aware that it was his ex until later on.
I mean, it's sort of in.
That was just some girl that he was kind of
We do get a sense of that because early on in the movie they're exchanging texts, and he messaged her about some bullshit, and then she apologized how she's sorry about how things went down or whatever.
So he thumbed up one of her Instagram photos, and she responded.
And she accidentally my Instagram.
We've all been there.
Shit. And she's like, "You're creeping on me, huh?" She's like, oh, "Goddamn bitch, I
must have butt liked you."
Don't like posts from weeks or months ago, because they're just you're just going to their fucking profile page and snooping.
Rule number 1 on internet, social media,
only
creeping
current
etiquette.
pictures.
Always the latest shit.
Don't go into the page and start or
go into their history. You fucking weirdo.
Or do it, but do it covertly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or make another account and do it from there.
Don't comment.
There's ways to go about this.
Just use your eyes, not your fucking hands, you moron. So he responds, and then
I'm sure Ray could write a thesis on ways to keep tabs on women, which is a light way of saying stalking.
Right. You get a friend.
And my usual target for a joke like that was Roland. Is Roland. However, I noticed that in our last Cinekuest episode, because we were so heated on whether Bride Reanimator or Beyond Reanimator was a better film, I called you a bitch so many times in that episode, buddy.
Yeah, I know. You were being a cunt. But it's okay.
I was being a complete cunt.
It's okay because
not an inaccurate cunt.
Exacting
cunt.
I forgive you your ignorance. That's why
it worked well for the content, guys.
Oh, is that right? You forgive me?
Your ignorance, yes, I know.
Oh.
You cannot help
our Savior.
You cannot
Roland
help
Christ.
you for your misdeeds, your mistakes. It's okay, whether you realize it or not, Daniel.
I can't help that I have taste.
Yeah,
the accuser of the onery.
Taste shit.
Yeah, which you pronounce so well, which is why I mocked you, kind of.
You can pronounce onery on him.
Oh, ornery.
Instead of ornery.
Ornery.
So I was like, I'm ornery, huh? Or maybe I mimicked exactly. I was like, oh, ornery, huh?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Roland. You're still wrong about that fucking movie. Better than Bride.
Everybody's
by far.
It's okay, Daniel. Again, I forgive you. Everyone's entitled to their own dumbass opinion, and I've got my facts, so I'm good.
Here we go.
Fake news. Hashtag fake news. I'm just going to default to our present strategy.
Bitch.
And, fuck you.
Gotcha.
Fake news.
So,
but anyway, back to Guns Akimbo.
You know who likes Beyond Reanimator? Obama.
That's right. I guess
best president of the 21st century. Best movie of the fucking trilogy. Well, I don't know. Reanimator was fucking awesome.
I thought you were going to say for a second. I was like, I don't know. Obama was okay. No.
Anyways, back to Guns Akimbo.
Bride bored me. Back to Guns Akimbo.
Back
yes.
to Guns Akimbo.
So Miles, who's played by Daniel Radcliffe, is trolling on the internet, and he's watching the stream from the Schism folks, and it's just calling people, telling them they're sick, you know, and anyone trolls back, he's like, oh, you've got a tiny penis or whatever. And I think it was his stick dick comment to the admin from Schism that probably got them pissed off.
Right.
So next thing you know, he got them in his apartment.
Yep. They knock his ass out.
And they knock him out. And I think this thing is hilarious because one, it shows that Radcliffe's character is probably not as much of a bitch as we think he is.
But they make a lot of
because he takes, you know, hits from a fucking, you know,
like a boxer
enforcer for
multiple hits.
They make a lot of
solid punches to the face and doesn't knock like pass out.
They make a lot of like Hollywood action.
Dude, it only takes one usually.
Yeah. In the movies, like they make a lot of those fucking jokes where
then
Hollywood is like
with him, pops him in the fucking neck with a fucking tranq dart.
Yeah.
And the next time we see him, he's coming to consciousness in some sort of warehouse looking scene, and they're getting ready to saw his arms off, it looks like.
I thought they were like, I thought he was just using a drill, and you just seemed like the guy drilling a hole, and then he starts screaming.
Was it a drill? Like it looked like a fucking like sawzall to do his holding.
Yeah.
Because if they were just drilling into his hands, then like the screw bits already have like sharp parts to drive into people's hands to bolt them to guns.
So you'd rather they used a hammer? Shit.
Well, no, I just don't know. Because initially I thought it was like a fucking sawzall, like they're going to cut his hands off and put guns in his place. But maybe it was just a fucking screw chaser or something. I don't know.
They busted out the tool shed on his ass. Yeah.
But from the footage, from what I remember, like they went down on his arms, like here, like almost to his elbow.
Right.
And he starts like screaming in pain or whatever.
Because they attach the, you know, it's the guns and then they have the clips, right? They have like these long fucking, almost like, I guess they were drum clips. I don't know how they looked, but they attached to his forearms.
It looked like cheap, like fabric attached to his elbows.
Yeah.
Like that's one thing I didn't understand about this movie was one, how did that work without causing just complete pain for him?
Well, he was
after
like
the anesthesia wore off or whatever, after getting punched in the head, fucking wears off.
Yeah.
You know, he's got fucking.
He was
6 iron bits or 7 iron bits through his fucking hands.
He was in constant pain.
I thought he was like every time he shot the gun, he was in pain. When he ever moved the gun,
he would like jump out of dumpsters onto like the gun hands and roll over and stuff.
But that was like later on. I know like in the very beginning. I mean, he just him moving his hands, he had reactions to it, like it was painful. Yep. So I imagine after at some point he's awake. I mean, your endorphins kick in, and like eventually, like you're just kind of used to that situation. But again,
like
it would cause him pain every time he'd fucking.
But I would think that would just be immense pain, dude. I mean, he had fucking like 6 bolts at least through his hands.
Yes, but I mean,
there was one for like each knuckle, and then one like on the.
He's also like has a whole shit ton of adrenaline going through him, right? Because I mean, he doesn't know what the fuck's going on.
Because you know, because they do make a lot of those Hollywood reality jokes. You know how they punch somebody in the face and they get knocked out, and it didn't work on him. Later on, he accidentally shoots one of the guns and even says, "Fuck, this ain't like the movies." You know, like if Rambo was. If this were real, like Rambo wouldn't be like shooting people, he'd be learning sign language or some shit, you know, because like
that's when he accidentally fired the gun off in his fucking apartment.
So like they make a lot of
like,
those,
oh, this is loud as shit.
They make a lot of those jokes, but then like, you know, because it's a movie and when it's convenient, you're gonna be like, well,
and they did show that each gun had like 50 rounds in it, right?
So that's why again, like I was thinking of the extended clips on
that was my second question with this. How did Radcliffe know? Because it showed like whenever he looked at the guns, it showed like a little like a digital display. Like output or whatever. Like, you know, here's your ammo in righty and here's your ammo in lefty.
Yeah.
How did he know that?
I thought that was attached to the
What do you
gun,
mean?
though.
Like,
Wasn't it?
so okay,
But
there
like,
were two. There was
what kind of technology are these fuckers using
Oh, yeah.
to be able to pipe that into his like synapses or whatever to display like, here's your ammo count in your right
Oh
versus
no
left arm.
You're talking about the graphic that would actually flash across the screen of them.
Yes.
I think that was like
And-
that was just FX for us, dude. Like, because you know how like they have a lot of effects in this movie.
I don't think so.
Because
I really don't think so, dude.
He knew how many.
Yeah,
rounds
because
he
like
had,
on the
though.
side
he was
of the
able to,
gun,
like, count along the
because on the
way.
side of the guns, each of the guns, there's a little like small LED.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
display.
talking about. That it was on the side of the gun, though. Right?
That's what he could see, though. Like Daniel's talking about the graphic that would flash on the screen, aren't you?
Oh,
I think that was for us, like for drama or whatever. You know, like this is a cool effect.
But I don't
don't
know
think
if
you
it
can
has a
see
place though, because it'd be like
Well,
a more
because
solid
it's stylized, dude. Like how
cinematic
they,
device where like towards the end of the movie he goes shit, you know, I'm empty.
it's stylized
Rather
like
than, oh, I'm almost out. You know,
Yeah.
he's not checking the ammo clips necessarily. He's not checking the numbers on the side of the gun. He's just like, oh fuck.
eventually he has with that.
And
that
why
moment.
could those guns not be reloaded? That's my biggest question of this fucking
Why?
movie.
I mean, they probably could, but like they bolted to his hands, so.
But yeah, you know, just pull that little like weird strap aside and pop a new clip
but like
in,
those weren't.
and
I mean, pull the extended clip that's bolted into his forearm aside. I don't necessarily.
but there's
know.
no indication that the clip is bolted. Because the only bolts you see are in his hands,
I just
not in the
assumed it
firearms
was.
themselves.
well, I mean,
And if they were to put a bolt in the fucking clip, then that would reduce the overall capacity of that clip too.
But do you think like maybe he just didn't even think of that? The fact that he has a certain number of bullets, that he just assumes that that's what he has, and I don't know if he thought even there was a second thought for him, like where am I going to get more ammo? Like where am I going to get more guns? Because he just has
my
the one.
thing is, why didn't Supreme Killer Nix, played by Samara Weaving, think of that?
Oh well, I mean, I'm not gonna expect. She never had a plan to begin with. She was just gonna fucking kill his ass until.
Well, all she was trying to do is get out, dude.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
She didn't necessarily want this last assignment, and
But like throughout,
you know, I mean, she laughed at it.
Throughout
She's
the
like,
movie
"Who's this
or
guy?" I mean, she
whatever.
goes to the fucking pig station, looks his info up. It's like no criminal
that's
record.
right. That was
whatever.
really
Like,
funny when she
the
walks
fuck
in
am
there.
I doing trying to kill this guy?
She walks in there with a fucking like
Mustache.
dressed as a dude, like but looked like, you know, had her ponytail and shit, and just sat down and hacked their computers.
Yeah. I mean, since we find out later that the cops are involved, like
Yeah.
maybe that's why like she could walk through.
Even though they
didn't give a fuck.
Even though
They knew she was.
the
You know?
detective is actively searching for her,
Yeah, that's another thing.
who turns out to be her father.
I told Roland I did enjoy that little turn of the plot and then it ending immediately. Because you thought there was going to be some kind of like reunion.
They shut that shit down so fast.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean he's almost giving like some kind of sob story about the fact that Nix is his daughter and he's gonna try and save her. And as soon as he says that, like boom, they fucking pop him in the head.
So I thought that was another like Hollywood parody joke or whatever comedy. Like, nope, we're ending this. Boom. And then again, like when Miles is looking at his corpse, he's like, "Oh, I see he's wearing a bulletproof vest. That really didn't help you."
That did a lot of good. Yeah.
And I saw it. I was like,
Speaking
oh,
of which, speaking of bulletproof vests, my bladder is not. So I'll be right back, dudes.
oh, all right. Yeah. Where's my? How long have we been recording? Like 30 minutes?
Yeah, 30 minutes. Yeah.
And we're already to the father dying?
Yeah, you could just jump around this whole fucking movie.
Well,
but,
yeah, but I mean, it's pretty much.
Most of it is just him running through the fucking
Yeah, you don't need really
the
talk
movie,
about much
yeah.
else.
and go, well, he goes here and then he does this, and no, it's not
People
necessary.
get shot. It's a fucking, you know, pretty straightforward action flick or indie action.
It's more style and action over any sort of substance.
So,
you know?
yeah, there's no substance. It's all like that graphic deck.
But like you mentioned, like
everything else, it's like a comic book.
Yeah, it's like you
these.
mentioned, like it's just oh fuck, I even forgot what
Stylized.
No, I forgot when my brain just fucking turned off right now.
You had a think and it went away.
Basically.
Boo, boo, boo. Oh well.
So I'm gonna clap right quick because this is just funny, and you're probably want to cut it, Ray.
Okay.
Should we dedicate this episode to Gerardo Salinas?
You know what I was gonna do actually? I didn't tell you guys, but I had another clip from Face the Music, and which is basically like a 3.5 minute clip, and it's Jerry giving his review of fucking Face the Music, right? And I was gonna put that on Instagram. I mean, he would see that.
Yeah.
But just like
that's funny.
Knowing everything, I was gonna put it out. I was like, oh, maybe I'll put it out, maybe I won't. But now I kind of want to just put it out. So just because, you know.
Although I do like the clip you threw out of Roland and I bitching back and forth over this movie.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. No hard feelings, buddy.
Bitch. I should have argued harder.
So now we're back.
Right. So
we've jumped ahead a little bit plot wise, but Radcliffe's character Miles gets visited by the end bosses from Streets of Rage.
Yeah.
And they knock him out. And when he comes to next, he's got 2 pistols bolted into his hands.
Yep.
And apparently there's 50 rounds each. Don't know how you do that in a pistol, but cool.
I mean,
yeah, I had a question about how many rounds. Like, what kind of clip is this? This is
like
fucking 50 rounds.
His like arms and shit.
yeah.
To like,
so like that's why it was like I think it was a drum clip. So it's sort of just long and just.
but it wasn't because like it wasn't an extended clip. It wasn't like a banana.
No, it sort of looked
clip.
kind of.
It wasn't a drum.
It kind of looked like.
So it was like in his arms
like
and
a
shit.
teardrop shape.
Maybe it was just extra thick clip in the handle.
No. Like it was. I know I saw like what sort of looked like a container on his forearms. I'd look it up, but I don't.
We probably need to. We'll look for a picture of that.
But so.
So anyway, he wakes up and he's got guns on his hand all of a sudden.
And then at some point he has to take a piss, and he's very nervous the whole time.
Yeah, I mean he has pain in his hands, and he's trying to work his way around the fact that he has to do he tries to put on pants that doesn't work.
No.
Again, he tries to take a piss.
He's very nervous using his inhaler because he's got asthma.
Yeah, exactly.
Like at one point, like he tries to
very brilliant use of. Speaking of the pants scene, it comes up later, but the bum he meets is one of these from Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah. Is that who it is?
Yeah.
Okay. I told Roland that the guy reminded me of Rhett from Rhett and Link. Like,
he does. Yeah, but I had to look him up, dude. I was like who played the homeless dude in Guns Akimbo?
Oh, his name was like Reese.
Yeah, it was like Reese, whatever. But yeah, he was one of the 2 from Fly the Conchords, and a bunch of other acting credits.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was telling you
Glenjamin, that's the guy's name.
He was in What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in Yes Man.
I thought that was cool. Like. Add on to the film because like he was fucking hilarious, but
there was a quick scene when he's taking a piss and you see him kind of struggling. They had to like do an overshot and like him just
the show his dick,
showing his dick like piss.
Just
his dick, quotes.
It was a stunt cock, right?
But it's pissing everywhere. And that's funny. Yeah. I mean, because that's a really pale.
He starts off
dick,
all right. So. He was like, all right, I'm hitting the toilet, and then he relaxes too much, and that's when the pressure hits, and boom, he just fire hoses.
Well, no, he gets like a call or a text from somebody or whatever, and it throws him off. So he's just like, oh well, fuck it, as long as I'll piss on myself.
I don't remember it as well. I was just laughing. I was like, fuck, they're gonna do this. Oh man. This could end so bad.
But yeah, so
he gets through it.
For some fucking reason, the Schism organization feels that Miles should take on the reigning champ of murdering other dangerous fuckers.
The Killer Queen.
Who's played by Samara Weaving in the character of Nyx. So, yeah, he's got 24 hours to take her out or they kill him. If he leaves town, they kill him. You know, like there's basically no way to run.
Yep.
And that kind of sets the.
Yeah, that's pretty much what sets the movie going. I mean,
for like the funny shit that's about to happen. There's so many ridiculous scenes in this movie.
There really are. I mean, my favorite is the fucking the bum that he meets, Glenjamin.
Glenjamin.
Because he pretty much gets him to put on his pants and dress him and shit.
That scene is like, we're gonna get to favorite scenes at some point, but like one of my favorite scenes was when Radcliffe's character is like, this is gonna sound weird, but I need you to like, I want you to help dress me or whatever. And like all this like struggle he's in, and then Glenjamin just goes, "You're right.
It is weird.
That does sound weird."
Yeah. I liked it later when he asks him to feed him.
Like
he's like, open his mouth. Could you just feed me? He's like,
hot dog scene.
Like, I just fucking dressed you, you know, like, what else do you want? You want me to wipe your ass? And then he like looks at him like,
he's like, that might be helpful.
That would be really helpful. No, don't even go there. He's like, oh.
Yeah, but it's mostly his facial expressions that he gives that are just hilarious.
Yeah.
But dude, the hot dog scene was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was gross.
So Miles has not eaten for a while.
Yeah.
And so he asked Glenjamin, you know, if he has anything to eat. And he's like, oh, I've got this.
Let me check the pantry.
And he pulls this fucking piece of cardboard back from the wall. It's like laid up against it. And he's like, oh, you're in luck. I have this like cold hot dog.
Yeah.
And
says it's been there for like 8 months.
To like feed it to Radcliffe because like Miles is like, oh, could you put it in my mouth?
Yeah.
And he's like, no. So Radcliffe's sitting there with his guns attached to his hands trying to like roll this fucking hot dog
off the ground.
And it rolls onto like crack.
Oh, there's like a used condom back there. Yeah. And he's trying to like pick it up and like the bum the whole time is just like, he's trying to be supportive. It's okay. It's a 10-second rule.
Yeah,
Don't
10-second
worry.
rule. Yeah.
And he finally eats it. And then that's when he tells him like, oh, well, I'm glad you helped me out there because it's been there for like 6 months.
8 months.
8 months. Yeah. So what does he say to him? He's like what does he ask him like what he does? He's like, well, smoke crack or something.
No, like he asked him, he's like, hey, so would you by any chance know anything about GPS tracking? And the guy is like, what the fuck?
Because I'm homeless, I wouldn't know anything about that.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend. I'm just kidding. I spent my time smoking crack.
He's like, for all you know, I could have been a hot shot programmer from a Fortune 500 company that
then when the
lost all his money.
And I was homeless. Yeah,
exactly. And he's like, are you? No.
And he's like, oh shit, my bad. And he's like, no, I smoke crack.
I just smoke crack. Do you want some? Do you want to smoke some crack with me? And that's where that scene ends. Like he's just like, before like Daniel Radcliffe even says no. He breaks out a freaking crack pipe and is like going cross-eyed, hitting it. And then he just breathes out a couple clouds, towards the camera, and that's it. Like, it ends. Or Miles moves on to try. What's he trying to do at this point? To go meet his ex, I think, right?
What? He does that before that, yeah.
That's right, excuse me.
Yeah, because he meets her with the robe and the shoes,
that's right.
Cloth slippers and no pants and shit.
Is that when he goes to work? I think that's when he goes.
Well, yeah, I think he does. He does go back to his job and his buddy that he works with.
Right, because he wants to scan his phone to try to
find malware.
And
which he finds really quickly. Yeah. After telling him like it might take like a couple hours.
Yeah, a couple hours, a couple days. Bloop. Yeah. Oh, all right. Yep. It says it's here. And it's really funny because when he's getting rid of it, he's like, oh, I can remove it, no problem. Or I can set it up like a switch for you that you can turn on later if you feel like it, And it was like very specific and very random. And Daniel Radcliffe was like, nah. Wait, you know what? That might be useful. Go ahead and do that. I'm like, what? This is fucking so dumb. And yeah, I mean, it does. He
was very strategic. He saw ahead that he was going to need it.
Yeah, real subtle foreshadowing. Yeah. So yeah, and he does end up using that because basically it's the equivalent of him turning on his.
Well, there's one thing about this movie that is not subtle in their foreshadowing. Like you're pretty much like, it's very blunt and forward.
Yeah,
and you're gonna see whatever they've mentioned very anytime they focus on something, you're going to see that later on.
in the early on in the movie, like right after he gets up, having the guns bolted on to his hands, I think he was he thinking about his ex or something along the lines. But he's narrating. He's like, "Oh, this isn't a love story, by the way. Like, don't get me wrong. Or don't like make that mistake."
Yeah, he's not this. It's not one of those stupid stories when the guy tries to get the girl or whatever. Yeah, so there's like a bit of like fourth wall breakage there, which is fun.
And then like they prove that in the end or whatever, like making a lot of jokes. At one point, he has like one bullet left for the longest time, and he's like not using. He's like, "Fuck, I can't use this. I've only got one bullet." And you're thinking like, "Oh, he's gonna use it on
the main guy."
The main guy. Like, there's no way he doesn't. And of course, he does. And like there's this fun buildup or whatever. And he's like, "Oh, what does he say? Like, I'm gonna do something about this, or I don't know." Like, he just tells the guy like, "I'm gonna stop you," and he shoots him. And it just like wings off to the side or something. Like he completely misses.
Yeah, like fucking wide as shit.
Huge. And that's when that's when Riktor is like, "Yeah, you suck," and he just fucking starts like shooting chunks of him off or whatever. He like hits him in both shoulders. He takes like a gut shot.
Well, he's got that fucking like dirty hairy pistol on him.
Yeah, that should have
which they took from Samara's or Nick's dad, right?
Right. Yeah, after they killed him,
Nick's dad. Yeah,
they take it off of him, and he does a double
should we
cross.
maybe take a step back and talk about that for a second?
About that side story?
Her
like
5 second background.
And some of her motivations or whatever.
Sure.
What?
Didn't say I was going to do
it. Okay, well, so we find out that Nick, the cop that picks up Miles is the father of Nix.
Right.
And at some point before all this, there's an explosion that happens with Nix, and she kind of gets traumatized by the fire, and you kind of see her in the back of the seat, right?
There's a car bomb that's set up.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
And
we don't know that at first. Like the first time we have like any sense of like trauma with Nix, Miles accidentally blows up like a propane tank or whatever.
Right.
She's staring at it, and then you see her like she has a flashback. she has I think she has a flashback in there, a moment or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it's real. It's just one of those like, oh, okay, this is your backstory. I think it's like her in a van or a vehicle, and you just see flames coming at her, and like her. I guess
she's in the back of the van, and like her mom,
and then that's it.
Other sibling in the front, and there's like a car bomb that the Schism organization sets up.
Right. It turns out that Riktor killed her parents, unbeknownst to her.
Yeah, and she was the only one who was saved, but I don't think that was intentional that she was supposed to be saved because
actually,
the father pulled
her
out.
Father survived. Her brother and
her dad pulled her out because fucking they show like a flashback scene of
like
that.
the PTSD or whatever apparently like fucks her up.
What's Dickhead's name? Can't remember.
Riktor,
thank you.
Yeah.
Riktor fucking, watches the van blow up, or the front half of it blow up, and he's like watching.
He was getting revenge on
who's going to become Nix in the back seat, like struggling and screaming and shit. And he says, "Burn, baby, burn."
Right.
Yeah. So was he filming it? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's an asshole.
I think he was filming it when he was waiting for it. Or
was he filming it? I just remember him just sitting there like
he was holding
off
the camera.
to the side, just like ha 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 ha.
I don't remember, but yeah, he was mostly doing that. But his main goal for that was because her father had him arrested, and like once he posted bail or something like that.
Yeah, her dad got too close or whatever.
Yeah, and so like he got pissed, and that's when he came after them all. And then like she basically pretty much lives her life with like a severe PTSD and like just falls in bad means or whatever, and and
becomes
a fucking super murderer killer girl or whatever. I mean, from that.
Well, the Miles character when he finds out that whole thing, like he plots to team up, which I saw coming like a mile away. I mean, they're gonna fucking team up at some point to try and like take down Schism.
Yeah, no, this was not a fucking.
This isn't even
super in-depth plot.
No. You can see that like a lot of like next steps in the next plot device coming like a mile away.
I think lazy writing.
I don't know if it's lazy writing necessarily. I feel like it was more of a joke. Like that was the joke they were playing. Like
I think it was mostly parody action, and it's it's lazy writing in the sense that it's a fucking comic book. Like you're not going to be getting.
Well, the thing is, like, I think it's lazy writing because they're very upfront about.
This is all about the visuals.
That this is a warped view of the world,
right? Yes. But also a very
and anything can happen in this like new, apparently apathetic society, which we are, I would say, rocketing towards.
I mean, I'd say we're pretty much.
So you have like a neat social commentary in this movie, but it's executed so poorly.
I mean, if they're gonna,
because there are never any repercussions for the folks that are watching this shit.
Oh yeah,
I don't necessarily think we're like full blown like, human deathmatch kind of situations. I mean, maybe it's out there somewhere.
What?
Well, like because you were talking about like how I don't know if you were talking about people in general are rocketing towards that like way of viewing, action.
I think we are,
within
and
the movie.
A fun proxy of that is this movie.
So okay, like I was just sort of going to expand on that. Mostly we're pretty close because as it is, like there are plenty of people that'll watch those kinds of like fights with just like animals. They put razor blades on fucking chickens and have them kill each other, kinds of stuff. So, or all those other kinds of fucking deathmatch shits.
Quit agreeing with me and move on to your points.
That was my point.
I was going with this, man.
Like,
that's
my point was that we're pretty much
just
there.
Out of like genuine curiosity. Like
you're just saying that we're as in reality we're actually there.
Yeah.
Like not too far from that.
We're pretty close
whole scenario
to that.
of actually using human beings as
this movie had a lot of commentary it wanted to make, and it turned into this like little slapstick, programmer loser guy trying to cope with like killing people for the first time and shit, and going, what the fuck is this? What the fuck? And I think they're capitalized on that rather than what I think this movie was trying to promote, at least as an undertone. It's like, hey, this violence-laden entertainment society that we're experiencing now can turn into this, and what does that say about us as people?
That's
if
what
that makes any fucking sense.
It does. I think you're giving them too much credit.
Well,
but
I'm just saying what this movie should have been. I think really
sure.
Because they try to hint at these like grander social.
I can see how you'd make those observations.
Overtones.
They jump back and forth between
so
like
poorly
reality and the fucking comic book tropes or whatever. Pretty often.
Okay, so apart from the ending where we see a comic book being like put out, was there anything else to really indicate that this had like a comic book-esque existence as a film for you, Roll?
The styles, the fucking.
I personally think like the color, like the way it's shot is basically comic booky, especially with all the.
It had a lot of
all those bright neon colors and shit like that.
Right.
That seemed very comic book like to me.
That and just like the action, they used a lot of slowdown and scenes where it was almost like Kill Bill stuff where it's like one woman against like 40 people or something like that, and she just goes in and like runs in the middle and just fucking killing everybody as she's
but she's high,
that kind of stuff.
So she could do anything.
Right? Yeah, the power of cocaine and meth or whatever. Like
that was one of the funnier points of this movie is when every time she's gonna like start fighting, she has to do like this whole line of
she gets into a jam or about to start fighting or gets into a jam. Like, oh, there's drugs.
When she comes, when she's coming after Miles, she's got like a rolled up dollar stuffed up her nose.
Yeah,
or whatever. Her nose, like she's still got the pipe in there or whatever. Like she used to.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty fucking funny. All of it, because like you said, it was a lot of just over the top. A lot of over the top action.
Maybe jumping
like
ahead
to the point of silliness.
Yeah, and we're jumping all over the place, but Nix's death scene was actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
with like the graphics and the CGI and shit showing the slow-mo explosion.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that was
showing it slowly consuming her or whatever. She's just smiling the whole time and total glee, like I'm finally out of this or whatever.
Yep.
Well, I mean,
we'll get to that, I guess.
Her trauma that she experienced, like she seemed accepting of the fact that was pretty much what was going to kill her now, I guess. Because I mean, she was going through that whole thing. She'd have a bomb strapped to her fucking body.
Flames or whatever, she'd zone out. And then this last time,
what was badass about that whole scene was, she asked Miles, why that he thought she survived this long or whatever. And he's like, well, because you're a badass or whatever. And she's like, no, because I didn't want to give another motherfucker. She didn't use that word, but that's my word to be way cooler. I didn't want to give another motherfucker that satisfaction of killing me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then
she goes true to her own terms and basically, self annihilates herself. But
yeah, she takes them all out with her. Which is cool. I thought there was like a little plot point that they were going to leave out because, in like the scene before where she's fighting that dude and like she gets 2 of her fingers cut off.
Oh, yeah.
And then Miles picks it up. Like it's her middle finger and like.
Yeah, she's trying to flip him off.
Yeah, she's trying to flip him off.
And she's like, oh, on the ground. Here's my middle finger. Let me stick it back on.
Sticks it on her hand. And it just drops again. And he's like, no, you have to ice that down. And he fucking takes her finger and puts it in his pocket like really fast. He just slips it in. I was like, oh, man, he's gotten really good at like picking things up now with his fucking hands. Because
he's all of a sudden adept.
He takes no time at all. Like the finger just slips right into his pocket. And it was just really funny to me how he uses that later. And he keeps a ring, right? At the end of the movie.
Well, no. Well, yeah, he does keep a ring. And I'm curious how he gets that because he stuffed the whole fucking
finger in Riktor's mouth.
Ring and all into Riktor's mouth before he smashes his fucking fingers to make him fall off the building, which... Spoiler alert, the good guys win.
Yeah, but he doesn't get the girl in the end. So, again, not a love story.
I thought that
was really funny.
That scene where in his, I didn't know it was in his head.
What's happening in his head. Like, everything goes all soft
bleeding
and purple.
Out his hemorrhagic shock. Yeah.
And the girl's like,
dream sequence.
Oh, shit. Well, we haven't really talked about Nova.
No, the ex. Like, she gets involved because...
Like, in that tie-in.
Because when Miles tries to go to the cops, he tries to leave the city. He gets called by Riktor, and they're like, "What are you doing, bitch?" Like, or no, excuse me. He calls his ex Nova to tell her that he's leaving, and it just so happens that Riktor shows up and like fucking kidnaps her right.
Yeah,
right
they're
there.
like in the process of like kidnapping,
breaking
her
in.
ass.
Like he just happened to call like a few seconds before. And so Riktor's like, hi, get your ass back over there or she's going to die.
Well, no. First he started saying, I'm sorry. I thought it was fucking hilarious. He's like, I'm sorry. Nova can't come to the phone right now.
Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor.
Just fucking taunting the shit out of him. It was great.
So she becomes a hostage and
Riktor could have been such a great villain. And we'll get to our villain ratings, I guess, here in a bit. And God damn it, Ray, I did not adjust my list after Roland trashed ours.
Oh, none of us did.
I trashed his.
No, the whole thing's messed up because we're behind like 2 people on the list. But we'll adjust it in just a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. But anyway,
I thought he was a pretty cool villain.
I felt he was okay.
He was a very shitty person. So I like that. Well, yeah,
but I mean, villains are shitty. That's their nature.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
but
we're not supposed to like them.
I mean, like they vary, right? Like some villains have like a code of ethics, and like other villains.
Well, we're not supposed to like them, but there's a lot that we've talked about that we actually love. So
yeah,
yeah. I mean, one thing, he is ruthlessly efficient.
I like how petty he is because he's like, this motherfucker is commenting on my shit. Like, all right, you know what? Like,
yeah. Let's go
get his ass. Yeah. I really love that. He's hey, bitch.
I like the fact that he seems like he's high all the time. Also, like his emotions are like, well, even in his line delivery, he's just all over the place. Like he's just like all over the spectrum of like expressing himself.
He's definitely ratcheted up. Yeah.
Yeah. But so yeah, the way the movie ends.
So main plot of this movie, for some fucking reason, the Schism organization, the ones that are setting up all the webcams and live feeds for all of this one-on-one violence. They really want Nick's dead.
Right.
And for some reason, they can script Radcliffe's character to combat her.
Well,
and then it turns into a viral phenomenon because some fucking how Radcliffe keeps surviving.
Yeah, he's the mega super fucking.
Because I mean, he's fucking daredeviling out of the way of bullets and shit.
He starts off. Everybody's ragging on him the way he starts off because he's super pathetic as far as they go. Like he's running away, he's fucking hiding. He like won't shoot people. Like he tries to go to the cops to save him. You know, like they do everything that is the opposite of what they're used to in a fight. Like they're used to like how in the beginning of the movie you see a fucking chase scene with Nix and those fucking dudes behind her in the truck or whatever. This was like,
wait, what the fuck are you talking about?
I think the way like the reason.
Are you talking about the same movie?
Yes, I am. What the fuck? Don't you
I'm
remember?
not sure if you are at this point.
That's at the very beginning.
It's in the very beginning.
Yeah,
Dopey,
the very beginning.
The fucking chase
Nix,
scene, like when they introduced Nix, like on her fucking car and shit. You know, she's getting chased. I think that's sort of the reason why like he turns out to be so popular. Like after surviving and doing all this, because like he started out really shitty. Like they just fucking hated him. And then like,
but she's also you would think that she would have killed him pretty quickly,
absolutely.
But she's not. So
yeah.
And the only reason I can attribute that is just because plot to push along the movie.
Well, I think yes,
she
plot,
she would have killed his ass,
but
like, instantly.
She's not taking it too seriously because she's like, I'll kill him eventually.
Yeah, she calls him fuckboy the whole time.
Yeah.
Speaking of plot, I'm going to comment on scenery and specifically face scenery. Why the fuck did her canines have to be like coated in gold or whatever?
Oh, this like the silver fucking crowns or whatever she had.
Yeah, just like, nah, I'm a vampire. Nah. She was like showing her fucking mouth stupidly.
I just
no
assume,
context. Like she didn't bite anybody at any point to make that worthwhile. Like
she
was fucking just dumb.
It's just edgy style. I don't know. She's a hard ass.
And then when she went into the police station, despite her disguise, she had like 8 million tattoos all over her hands.
Yeah, on her neck
shit and face.
She has
it's like
one on her neck.
Oh, it must
really
be one of
funny.
our undercover officers.
Yeah, deep undercover.
Yeah, going to
I
Sergeant
really love
Smith's
that
office.
scene.
No worries.
Actually, I think that's probably one of my favorites. I just saw that and I started laughing like this, and the way she's walking too, like hands at her sides and shit, just like really stiff, and like it just made me think of like that fucking that like old joke where you cartoon drawing or whatever of like 3 kids standing on top of each other's shoulders wearing a trench coat trying to go and buy fucking movie tickets or whatever. I'll take one for Blade, rated R, please. You know, like it looked really fucking silly and it just made me laugh. So I fucking liked it. But yeah, the plot for this movie is just, there really isn't much of one.
Half of the fun of this movie, I think,
So
was
it's pretty
watching
standard action.
Miles trying to like control his phone with like his gun hands.
Yeah. And then
And try to open doors and all this other shit. I thought all that was just like funny trimming for the movie. Not really
he's driving
even
a fucking
tangentially related to the plot. It was just like a funny byproduct of like his situation that the writers made use of. And I thought that was like well done.
Yep. Which
because
you know what? Like what was your
comes up
which one of you? Which one of like
trying to put pants on?
Yeah, which one of those scenes was your favorite of you all? Of him trying to like pick shit up and do things with his fucking gun hands. Do you guys?
Well, I mean, I think when he was taking a piss and then when he tried putting on his pants for the first time.
I thought we'd go for the pisser Ray.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I was just like, "That's fucking." It's not like the best comedic scene of the whole movie.
No,
it's just because the fact that they
stupid.
They intentionally had to show his dick while his dick is spraying piss all over the place, and I was just like, that was not necessary, but whatever, it's funny.
What I wonder, so going towards the tail end of the movie, when Nix decides to go on her little like jihad run and go blow herself up. when the explosion happened, how Miles didn't happen to pull his trigger on the last fucking bullet he had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was it blew him away too. Like that explosion,
because he was behind like
He
some
got knocked the
speakers
fuck
or whatever,
over.
or
Yeah.
like some like
I
metal
mean, maybe
cabinets or something.
by that point he'd
and
become
the
a
blast
pretty.
blew those back, and him like way the fuck off. Like, how does hands not tense and go?
He'd become he'd become a pro by the end of the fucking movie. Like, I mean, with the exception of him missing
Roland, his hands were fucking
but like
bolted
remember
to the gun.
when they
his
got there,
finger
dude,
was on the trigger at all times.
when they got
Like,
there, do you remember how like what happens that scene where they just get to the warehouse and Nix is trying to tell him like just go in there, just go, and he's like, no, I don't trust you. You're gonna shoot me in the back.
I'm not the best at opening the doors.
Yeah, and then like the fucking
and she's like, oh, if I'm gonna shoot you,
like I'll shoot you in the front.
face.
Yeah, and like. And then the door opens as they're arguing, and the guy just sticks his head out, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And Radcliffe just sort of like casually, he just casually like angles his hand up and like just gestures at him, boom, and shoots right in the head. Like he'd become a fucking pro at this point, as far as I'm concerned. For that, I mean,
well,
and you know what, like his
FPSs he was playing,
yeah, right, because of all his gaming skills finally coming to the fray. I mean,
target.
They
obviously
his
didn't work at the
training,
very
his
end,
training
though.
up until this point was pretty severe. Like, what does he fucking do? He puts on his pants. He uses his inhaler. He takes a piss. He fucking eats like a hot
he
dog
doesn't
off the
put
floor.
pants on. He has help.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
he gets
right.
dressed,
That's
yeah.
right. He tries and he
Someone
fails.
dresses him.
And tying his shoes. He
That's
has
right.
help.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I would imagine that
he drives a car. He puts the fucking car in gear and then drives it and steers.
Yeah.
What else? What else? Is that everything? Well, I mean, he opens like all the doors and all the gates and shit. You know, I think that's pretty much it. So like by this point, man,
using the
I think
guns to kind of angle his phone so he can like swipe with his nose.
Yeah, I think he's got it. He's got it down pretty good by this point. So I'm gonna argue that like, you know, okay, he was cool not to waste the bullet. I mean, he'd still waste it later.
That's exactly what I was saying. I was like,
But
It ended up being wasted.
You know, like, I don't understand how like just a sheer like I'm getting blown back by a huge explosion.
Because then we couldn't have that
How
last scene to laugh at.
his hands didn't tense at all and pull a trigger and waste that last bullet. I don't buy that at all.
Shoots himself in the dick. Fuck! I finally got it. No. Yeah, this movie's pretty fucking funny though.
overall, this movie is entertaining. I mean, if you're gonna look past the plot holes and
you shouldn't be expecting that. This is an action.
As
flick.
I told you guys after, I sent the message to the group right where I finished watching. I was like, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's about it.
This was a very fun movie.
Yeah,
I didn't like it all that much, but it was super fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I mean, if you want to go through your favorite scenes, even though we've talked about a few of them, are there any more that you would like to mention, Roland? Since this is your pick.
Let's see. I thought it was pretty funny with well, I think I already mentioned it when like he first meets Nix, like as he's leaving his apartment, he's just like, oh shit, and she's just there with that fucking like a cocaine wad roll or whatever stuffed up her nose. When he goes back to his work later and meets his boss and like finally flips and just fucking threatens him with the guns, telling him not to stop being a dick, and the boss dies anyway because Nick shoots him in the back of the head or something. Yeah. Everybody just freaks out. A Nerf gun guy, that made me laugh.
Nerf gun guy was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like
cover me.
Yeah, how? With what? How? Like, so yeah, Nix is shooting at Miles, and
well, we didn't mention the fact that like there was a bit of a decoy setup whenever Riktor captures Nova, but she's not the person that they end up killing. They actually end up killing her friend.
Yeah, dude, because there's a scene where his coding buddy is like taking a shit watching the stream.
Yeah, and they fucking pick him up.
And also the door opens and he's like, no.
Yeah.
And he gets taken.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird because I thought that early in the movie, the guy who was loading up on the motorcycle that Nick stole was that programmer guy because he had like the same hair.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
But that guy's too much of a wuss.
I thought that. So unless like he was like, oh shit, lost my bike, guess I'll take a dump.
Yeah.
And then gets taken. But
Yeah.
there is a fake out scene where Miles tracks down. He does like the find my iPhone bullshit.
Yeah, he tracks down Nova's
for
phone.
his girlfriend's phone. Tracks down to a van, and then you have Riktor and his goons there with somebody with a mask over their head or a bag over their head. They're like, ha ha ha. And they fucking ice his ass or ice their ass, throw him out.
Dump him.
And Miles is like, oh shit, Nova.
Right.
And then it's his fucking buddy when he pulls the mask
And
back.
he feels just as shitty though. He's like, fuck, I got somebody else fucked over.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I was kind of thinking it wasn't going to be her, but I had forgotten that he'd been abducted earlier in the movie. And so when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, damn. Okay, like I kind of like
Bummer
those
for that guy.
Yeah, I mean it sucks, but like I thought that was a nice detail, even though it was pretty shitty.
Right.
Because it just to me like it just showed how fucking dark these Riktor is or whatever. Like I think he was a pretty good villain in this movie. Made me laugh.
Any other scenes that you enjoyed, Roland?
Let's see.
Okay, I guess not.
Yes. One more.
Okay.
When Miles and Nix team up and they're in the last, like they're fucking kicking down the doors of Schism and killing everybody. And like they're both shooting people, and Miles is always like, why do you have to shoot them in the dick? like Nix is just shooting everybody in the cock, just flat out. Boom, boom, boom. And she's like, what? I'm doing it. It's
doing Society a favor.
I'm
or
doing
something
Society
like
a
that.
favor. Yeah. Like, and then like Miles is like, damn it, why can't you change it up? Why don't you be like dick shot, headshot, dick shot? And she's like, what? Boom, shoot someone else in the dick. She's like, oh, why'd you have to do it again?
Yep.
He's like, it's okay. It's just dick blood. Miles, come back. Yeah, I love how she was. I love their interaction there. It was fucking hilarious. They actually seem to get along pretty well.
Okay. Well, I just want to give mine before I forget. We did talk about the homeless man, which that probably was my favorite part of the movie. Their interaction. I won't talk about it anymore because we kind of went through it.
Yeah.
It's best just to see his expressions because I think those are like the best part of that scene.
Yeah.
And the one other scene I did enjoy, again, most of the ones that Roland did talk about, was when Miles and Nix are at the computers and they're trying to are they trying to like get like destroy them or something?
Yeah.
And then that chick comes with the two fucking guns, and then she turns around, she's like, "Oh shit, like I love your guns, whatever."
Right,
and then
the
they keep
AA-12s.
yeah, they start talking about them, and then of course like that little conversation that they have, I think is humorous.
Right. She's like, oh man, like I bought them with this paint job, but I feel kind of bad because like I should have like opted for this other one. And then Nix is like, "Oh no, like those are totally
babe,
you. Like you look great."
Off. Yeah.
and the girl's like, "Really? Thanks." Like, you know, and they're like,
Okay,
"Oh,
well, we should get to this.
yeah, yeah." She's like, "Well, I got to get back to this." And then Nix is like, "Well, it was nice meeting you." She fucking just runs. Wow. And then like Miles is there the whole time. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
And he gets shot point blank. With those fucking automatic shotguns in the chest, that was nuts.
Yeah, so that was one of the other scenes I did enjoy.
Yeah,
Daniel,
that was pretty funny.
Do you have any other scenes that you want to talk about?
Yeah, actually, towards the end of the movie, after Miles dispatches Dickhead, Riktor,
Yeah.
And he goes into hemorrhagic shock, but it's like the 80s
dream
like
sequence.
rock music video.
Yeah.
He's like making out with Nova and shit.
Right.
And then cuts back. He's like, oh, that was just bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, I was having hemorrhagic shock. That's when you like start losing your shit, when you lose a lot of blood. And actually seeing your ex pistol whip a dude
to death
does not give you a huge lady boner or whatever.
Yeah.
Gives you PTSD.
Gives you PTSD. Yeah, she's like freaking out.
He goes back to reality. She's all like backing away from him, like, oh fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that shit was just fucking funny, man. So it was like that was the shattering of like the fantasy for this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like he sort of needed something. This was like the fucking the last nail in the coffin or whatever. Like she met up with him, like saying it was a mistake, but I think when initially like they tried to contact each other again, but I think she had actually planned on telling him that he needs to move on or whatever. Like she was going to have that conversation with him anyway. Even though like it seemed that at first like they were going to have some kind of
I think actually things were cool with him or with them until he just jumped in her car when he was like meet her up at the park.
So I think she'd been on the fence or whatever about it the whole time to begin with.
And this movie was probably like an hour and 15 minutes too long.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that Miles could have like chilled out within a fraction of a second for them to drive away and not get blown the fuck up by a gunfire.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because
what did she say?
She dives in her car. She's like, he's like explaining all this crazy shit, and she's like, "I'm not going to actually cool down."
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Oh, I'm cool, and then she drives off right when the fucking
as they're about
hails
to
of gunfire start. That's bullshit.
Isn't that when Nix has like that fucking bazooka, right?
Yeah, and then she turns around instead.
Oh, she bazookas. Yeah, she's trying to bazooka the car, but it comes out of view. So she bazookas one of the fucking drones watching the feed or recording the feed. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. The one thing I did want to touch on was the soundtrack, which I did enjoy. It's a lot of covers from like 80s movies and shit, or the 80s. Sorry.
Okay, so in that fucking last gunfight when Nix and Miles are running through the fucking warehouse or whatever, I can't remember what song is playing, but they should have just played the original track. Oh, it was Jerry Lewis, I'm a Wild One or Wild One or whatever.
Oh no,
Ballroom Blitz. That's what I was trying to think of. Was
the
Iggy Pop, the Iggy Pop song,
the original version,
and they fucking played Super Freak.
That
was funny.
But fucking the Jerry Lewis was like badass. But I thought it would have been like way funnier if they played the original version with all the like the crazy piano going off and stuff as like they're like blasting.
What do you
like? It would have been great.
What do you guys think of Citrus Hill?
Oh, Cypress Hill.
Oh yeah.
Have you ever listened to a Citrus Hill?
That shit was funny. I didn't like how that came. Although it was a nice tie-in from his conversations with Genjamin. What the fuck was his name again?
Glenjamin.
Glenjamin. Yeah, that's such a cool name. It's so weird. It's like such a weird bastardization.
Where he's like, have you listened to Citrus Hill?
What does he say? What's the quote?
When the shit goes down, you got to be ready.
You got to be
ready. And it comes
to
like full circle in the movie or whatever. Ready. It was cool, but I was like, man.
I want hits from the bong.
And see, I did too, because the opening instrumentals for both songs are similar. And so actually in the last scene in the movie, I thought they were going to play hits from the bong.
The soundtrack itself is fairly enjoyable, and I think it fits the movie fairly well.
So
that never surrender song is from fucking Bloodsport.
Yeah.
Yep.
And which it's funny because whenever we did our anatomy mixtape soundtrack episode, that was one of the songs that Roland picked or was gonna pick or something.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And one of his picks at the very last minute, as usual. Yes. Go back and check out mixtape. Go ahead.
Right before we get to ratings, circling back to the plot of the movie, because Miles was basically shutting down like the Western U.S. chapter of Schism.
Right. Yeah. So
because apparently this shit went worldwide. Mm-hmm. And so at the end of the movie, we see him, sitting there talking and bullshit. He's gotten apparently the gun's removed from his hands.
Yep.
Because he's sitting in a car, like talking about, like, oh, you know, got these sons of bitches down, but there's more
Dressed
of
like
them
the
at play.
transporter or whatever.
And he brings up, you know, 2 pistols in his hands, but you see no bolts and shit, but you see the fucking scars.
Yep.
Right.
From whenever I got that shit removed, which is fucking baller. So I also have to wonder, because I had a fairly serious injury to my left hand when I was a freshman in high school that took about a year to fucking heal up.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder how much later it was for someone who got their fucking hands Jesused in various ways to recover from that. Because you got to think of all the fucking nerve damage that happened from those fucking bolts and shit. I'm surprised he was able to use those guns when they were like fucking bolts on his hands, actually. Because you'd think that like somebody like just all the nerve damage, he wouldn't be able to fucking operate those fucking things.
Or be fucking tearing his hands apart. Well, even further. And
and like his hands are all fucked up. And he does shoot, and then it's like causing all this recoil and stuff.
And he shot
the
each of those
directly.
guns 50 times too, so it's fucking nuts.
All right. And then he used them to like slam the guy's hands.
Right, he beat the guy.
Yeah, like he's sitting there like the whole time. He's like, "Ow, my hand hurts," but no, I'm gonna use it to bludgeon this guy off the building and not bitch about it.
Motherfucker.
I've got some problems with that.
Okay, so I guess ratings of this movie. Well, before we do that, just talk about the director of this movie. Actually,
Brian Yosna.
His name is Jason Lee Howden, and the only other movie that
I'm say like Jason Lee
familiar with.
This? Are you fucking kidding?
The only other movie that I'm familiar with is Deathgasm, apparently that he wrote in 2015.
I think you told me I should watch that one.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. It's a horror movie. This also was filmed in New Zealand. That movie is from New Zealand. Check out Deathgasm. It's humorous, horror, very bloody, all that kind of stuff. But that's the only other thing that he actually has some kind of like other writing credit for.
This was put out by Saban Entertainment or
Saban
whatever that
Power
is.
Rangers,
Power Ranger dudes. Yeah. I saw that. I was like, oh, cool.
Did it show the budget for this movie? I know how much it made, but I don't know the budget necessarily.
I don't remember seeing a budget for this bitch.
Yeah, me either.
I don't see anything here.
Yeah, I don't see anything about a budget necessarily, but the gross for this movie, Jesus, I had it here. Worldwide was not even $1 million. It was like $979,000.
But like anything that's coming out right now in theaters.
Well, it was 2019 that it came out. So
did it? I don't recall. Boop 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 boop. Wow.
Yeah, release date right there.
Was it like
September 2019?
Select theaters?
I think it was just.
Oh no! So check it out. That was that's something else. TFF or whatever. It says this one came out in the United States in April.
Ah, okay. Well, that makes more sense. Yeah.
What the hell is this?
So the opening.
It opened at the Toronto International Film Festival.
So it actually premiered April this year. So
right.
I mean that makes sense.
In the United States. And in March in New Zealand.
So
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm going to jump in here right quick. Totally not related to the cast, but related to the cast because I'm going to dedicate this ridiculous ass episode to my buddy Israel, who is currently 3 out of 4 for finishing his exams for his doctoral entrance exams bullshit.
Cool.
He got further than I ever did, so hats off to him, man.
Cool.
And actually, he was a contributor to our Lechus episode for Valley Strange because he sent me a bunch of shit that I kind of looked at. I didn't look at it as in depth as I should have, but I mean, he's a like religious studies dude, so he's got, and he loves Valley lore and shit. So he's just got tons of shit that we can capitalize off of later. But
use them to our benefit.
You know, what's up?
I said we just use them to our benefit.
Exactly. So thanks, Izzy. You know, if we're monetized, maybe I'll throw you $1 every once in a while. But
So ratings. I'm gonna go first on this one. Roland, you get to go last because this is the movie you picked.
Correct.
'Cause you're a bitch.
My rating for this movie, I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna say a 3.5 out of 5. It is a fun movie. I did enjoy it. Again, I've only seen it one time, so I think it warrants seeing it one more time. I did enjoy Daniel Radcliffe. I did enjoy Samara Weaving. Their characters are not. They don't have too much of their characters. They tried to go a little deeper with Samara Weaving's character, but I mean that kind of just seemed to just fall apart.
It was so hollow, though.
It was a useless point to the movie personally, but I mean it did help sort of with the plot later on. I did enjoy the villain. He seemed fun, but also kind of not that great either. And in terms of his effect on, I guess the story itself.
The terrorist YouTube Twitch streamer. Yeah.
Yeah. I did enjoy the cinematography, the way everything was shot, the colors they used, and some side characters that they did have in this movie. Which is, when I say that, I mean the fucking homeless guy, Benjamin. that point made
awesome.
Yeah, that made the movie for me personally. And again, the action itself is fun. All the plot holes in the movie downgraded it to a 3.5, and everything else is that I mentioned that was good about the movie is the 3.5. So. That was a hard chug there, Roland, of the vodka. Daniel, you're next on your ratings.
My damey. But
It's good.
I'm going to give this a solid 3.
Okay.
Out of 3. Just kidding. No, it's out of 5. Like, it was entertaining, but it was just all right as a movie overall. Like, the graphics were really cool, particularly like some of the slowed down bullet time shit, like when Nyx blew herself up, essentially. Like, that was cool. Some of the visuals, like
the bullet time for Miles' last bullet.
Miles shoots his bullet and it's like showing true, then just swing, veers off and hits a fucking brick behind the dude.
And then he gets shot in the shoulder and like flipped end over end. Or whatever.
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude.
It puts him airborne.
And so I wonder that's one thing I want to know, like how legit, you know, if you have a hand cannon like that, like that fucking dirty, hairy pistol on
torn
crack,
his arm off.
If you pop somebody in the shoulder, would they like flip around like that? Or was that just Hollywood?
No, not at all.
No, if there were a weapon that put that much power into him, it wouldn't be one of those, and like I think his arm would end up being like torn off or whatever.
Well, come on, man. Yeah, like I'm actually surprised that more damage wasn't, because like that's like fucking dirty, hairy.
I think there would have just been a fucking crater in his shoulder. That's basically
it's a 44 Magnum. It'll blow your head clean off. You know.
Yeah, I don't think it would like just flip him around that much. No, that's for a fact of the movie.
Yeah,
on
it was
though,
pretty funny though.
Can we maybe do their Dirty Harry movies at some point, because they're awesome. They're total guilty pleasure of mine. For that.
Yeah, no, they're fucking cool movies. I used to watch them on AMC pretty often.
So Daniel, at 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5, man. Like this movie had a lot of potential with some of the social commentary they were trying to drive at with the, you know, sick, apathetic state of humanity. But it was carried off so poorly because there were like no lessons learned.
Sorry, you cut out, man. Because what?
Oh, because there were like no lessons learned by anybody.
Oh, no. Yeah. I
see
movie.
See that like as a parallel in the plot, like whenever the father is telling him about his daughter and he's going to save her, and then they cut that off right away. I can see that along with the commentary that you're mentioning, Daniel. That they were gonna probably make some kind of point or have some kind of message, and they just fucking kill it. You know,
the opportunity to make a message or create some kind of subtext or rather greater meaning to this. Like they just belittled that as well. Like no, this is a joke. Fuck
really,
you.
there was a message that this movie really tried
or could have. Like there was a lot of potential for.
Yeah, but like there were elements of it, so it's like they were trying, but not really. Like it bothered me because I was wondering what the greater, kind of social message that this film could have produced, but they didn't. They basically made Batman.
Because it was like a joke about everything. Like, oh, this movie's going to try to teach you something. No, it's not. We're just laughing at everything.
Now you just have Daniel Radcliffe. Apparently now he's an assassin expert. He's going to take down all the others.
This isn't a good ending. This is a cool ending. Like, yeah.
Because with this Schism Network, our listeners, if you haven't seen this movie,
right?
It was localized in wherever
the fuck they were,
like LA, wherever the fuck they were. But there were plans to expand it worldwide.
Yep.
And they were apparently all these plans were underway. And Riktor was like, you can take me out, but we're springing up all over the fucking world.
Yeah.
And in the movie, apparently Radcliffe's got this fucking database off of their website.
He forwards an email to himself.
Whoever these fuckers are.
Can you send it to my Gmail?
But like number 2 was like in fucking like Japan, but he's still there in like LA or whatever. He's like, I'm gonna drive
around and fucking like a Dodge Charger or some shit.
My fucking car can go across the ocean apparently or something. Like I don't know. Man. It was fucking dumb at the end.
What about you, Roland? What's your rating of this movie?
So there really wasn't anything about this movie I didn't like.
And somehow Glenjamin knew this random like Dodge Charger.
Yeah, he sees him driving by and he just like nods at him. He's like, yes. Go, my son. So like, there wasn't anything about this movie I didn't like. I loved all of it. I liked it how they tried to seem like there was a message, but they just like fucking cut it off super fast. Like they try to make it seem like the other co-stars or whatever, the other main like murder actioneers and like had this huge backstory, but like they only give you a few clips of it here and there, and like how there's a subplot and like they immediately murder the detective or whatever as soon as he's done explaining things. I like how Miles's character is basically an internet troll, and it takes it to the extreme, and he gets fucked like so sideways by like the most pettiest of motherfucking like Twitch streamer fucking terrorists. Like it was. I want to go back
to a couple scenes in the movie. And they're tied together quite well, but you see whether they're M&Ms or Skittles. I assume they were Skittles because of the color.
Yeah.
But you have the first time that Miles is there talking to the fucking cops. And one of the cops is like, I'm seriously investigating this. The other cop's really dismissive. But he's like laying down fucking Skittles in a random pattern.
When Nova met the cops.
And then they cut later to the fucking warehouse where
you see a
Riktor
pattern
and all of his badasses
candies
are. And you see like an M&M's or Skittles fucking.
So that's how you know it's the same guy. Like, this motherfucker's a dirty cop. And then he talks about that. He's like, Riktor talks about that, right? He says, I own the police.
Yeah.
And that's when.
Favorite scene though. Forgot about this entirely. Mm-hmm. When Riktor is talking to the dirty cop who's trying to like run away.
Yeah.
And after he kills him, he talks about how it's a Jackson Pollock.
Right. Yeah. He's like, I'm an artist and this is art. Yeah. He shoots the guy in the head and like takes a picture of it. Like that's a Jackson
Pollock. It's like, oh, look, a Pollock. Oh no, he's videoing the fucking murder. Right. And he's like, oh, look, that's a Pollock.
I liked those little touches. Like he's just a twisted little fuck. I thought that was
fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Roland, did you give your actual rating?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, what's your rating, dude? Like,
so like I really liked this movie. I was surprised by how much I liked it. Because like it was pretty much everything I would look for in an action movie. The fucking cool soundtrack, like just like light on plot. It's pretty much just like bare bones. All right, this is happening. Here's an event. Fucking go. The comedy, like I really liked all of the every stupid little thing they did or spoke about, like it just made me laugh. I like in the end how Miles has that fucking like hallucination of him hooking up with Nova finally, and instead the reality is that like he's, you know, he freaked her the fuck out, and like it's like twice done over now, and like that's his just like, all right, I guess I'm finally over you kind of thing. Situation for his reality. I like how they jump back and forth, you know, between like breaking the fourth wall of things, you know, saying, you know, you can't do this in the movie. Like, what do you think? This is a fucking movie? Like, no, this is also isn't the game. Like, there's no respawns, no extra lives. Like, I just killed a guy. Those kind of things. I just killed a dude. Yeah. So I actually think that it was pretty smartly written for this particular like context. An action flick that like just laughs at Hollywood culture, at just like reality in general, actually, because there's a lot of memeing. Again, like he's like the epitome of a fucking like social justice warrior shithead, you know, edgelord.
I'm gonna disagree with the comic book element though. Just for the point that in the end scene, Richard's got that fucking hand cannon.
Yeah.
Fucking pops him in the shoulder, pops him in the side, and then pops him in the neck.
Yeah. Does he get him in the neck?
And he's fine.
Yeah, he does.
Damn, he should have been fucked.
Yeah, and he's still alive.
He's got that superhuman, you know, let me lift this fucking car off my baby's mama vibe.
I mean, but that's very much a comic book thing too, man. Like he should have been dead, right? Like after that first shot, that probably would have like
No.
Yeah, that probably would have like blew up his poor little mouse heart, and that would have been the end of it. So I give this movie a 4. Yeah, give it a pretty high rating because it's
Roland.
for obviously.
Wait, listeners.
Yeah.
I think we have a MoQuest first.
No,
Roland rated this movie higher than Ray and I.
that's right, bitches.
I'm pretty sure he's rated another movie higher than us.
I might have.
Maybe, I don't know.
Shh.
We'd have to go back and check.
I'm usually in the bottom or towards the lower middle, but yeah.
Well, I mean, we can attribute that to the fact that Roland picked this movie, so he was already attracted to the movie to begin with.
Yeah,
I didn't really know what to expect. Like, this wasn't something I had much prior knowledge.
Are you
about.
a Daniel Radcliffe fan?
I mean, I love Harry Potter, right? What? No.
Oh, there you go.
You dopey fuck.
You know, I really like Samara Weaving's facial expressions in her movies.
She was pretty funny.
I feel like she did a good
job, like as the character.
Yeah, she does a good job as a character. But I'm even talking about fucking Bill and Ted Face the Music, like that one scene. I'm just gonna go back to that real quick. That one scene when they're trying to get Jimi Hendrix, and she's trying to convince him. Her facial expressions as she's like talking to him are because her eyes get really wide.
Yeah,
she has a big smile, and then she's kind of like, I feel like her facial expressions
very much
really help her
in the like the spiritual Ted.
Yeah, it's just very entertaining.
Yeah,
the way she portrays characters. Mm-hmm. And I've seen her in multiple movies. I mean, I've seen her in The Babysitter. She was fun in that. I saw her in Mayhem in with that guy from Glenn who was in Walking Dead. I've seen her in Ready or Not. I saw her in that also. Like she's come out in a lot of movies recently as of late, and I've seen most of them. I think
I don't know any of those titles.
Yeah, I happen to see most of those the past like 2 or 3 years or something. Mm-hmm. But I like her as an actress. Like she's very entertaining and she plays a lot of diverse characters fairly well. So
yeah.
I mean, she's batting 1 as far as I'm concerned right now because I've seen her 2 movies and they've both been awesome.
They've been pretty good.
So.
Pretty good.
I mean, I realized I didn't rate this movie very high, but I did think that she played an interesting character in this film. So,
the moment we come to at the very end with these movies is rating our villains.
Yes,
because that's the primary topic.
Bring up the list,
whatever
Ray.
We are discussing the movie. The primary reason we're discussing these movies, and we're gonna go to the list. And if you heard any of our previous episodes, Roland fucked up the list.
I disagree.
And
I think I improved it. I corrected it. And you are just ungrateful.
So we are at number 9 right now, September.
What a Riktor thing
month.
to say, Roland.
And we only have 6 on the ratings right now. So Roland, the last thing we heard from you was number 1 was Lopan.
Yep.
Number 2 was Simon Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Number 3 was the Trauma Terrorists, with the AIDS Brigade.
Yeah.
Number 4 was Shonuff.
Yep.
And number 5 is Benedict. And number 6 was Silverio. And the ones that you are missing, Roland, are Johnny Wong from Hardboiled and Dr. Charles Luther from Runaway. Where do you place them in your list? Mind, he's just improvising right now. So like later on, we'll probably get more of a thought out answer.
Dr. Luther from Runaway, right?
Dr. Charles Luther, yeah, that's correct.
Charles Luther, right. The Gene Simmons at his best worst first.
Yeah.
I would put Luther above.
Silverio.
Where
Just
do
do
I
it.
have Benedict in there?
And Benedict is at number 5.
And who's above him? Shonuff?
Shonuff, yeah.
So I'll put Dr. Luther above Benedict because he's fucking cutthroat nerd. I do appreciate that. He's silly bitch, but I think he probably would have been closer to taking over the world than Benedict. Like I think he had more of a plan, maybe, or a framework for it. And that leaves who's this guy again? That leaves Riktor and who? What was the other one I had?
Johnny Wong.
Johnny Wong. Johnny
Hardboiled.
Johnny Wong's at the bottom. He's under Silverio. He's just a fucking tool. It's amusing, but I don't really care for that villain.
And he's a huge dick. Like,
yeah,
he's just an asshole.
Is. I don't really think there was anything interesting about him. Like I think he was like pretty much like a very fucking stereotypical fucking bad guy. So I will put Riktor though above. What's I thinking of? I've got Opan. Under Shonuff, who is so above Benedict is Luther, and I will put Riktor above Luther, but under Shonuff. Because I liked Riktor's character. Like he was just like he had this sort of assholic charm, or whatever, with his lines and the way he is. But he was pretty much like a fucking evil streamer. So
yeah, but I mean, I personally think that well, he's kind of like the start of that. So like they're franchising Schism out there. So like there's a plan for world domination out there, sort of. I mean, you're also going to cause like violence and trouble.
If I was going to say like there's any
other folks
sloppy writing in this movie or just like real last minute fucking details.
Can you bring up the list on your computer over there?
What's up, bitches?
What's up? We have the document on the computer.
I feel like I
here.
want to move some things around.
And you can.
Yeah.
But you have to wait till the next episode.
Ah, bitch.
You already gave your list, so
fine. I'm done.
This is improv. We had more time, and if we all had bring the fucking list back up.
Oh, I got it. All right, calm down, baby. It's all right.
Daniel.
You know.
For you have Simon Phoenix at number 1, Shonuff at number 2, Silverio at number 3, Lopan, Benedict, and the Trauma Terrorists at the bottom. You are missing Johnny Wong and Luther. And of course, Riktor now.
Johnny Wong is at the bottom of the pile.
Can you just add that to mine, please? Because Johnny Wong is at the bottom of mine, too.
Who was my number 5?
Your number 5 is Benedict. And, Daniel's over there. You can put his Johnny Wong at the very end, too.
And my number 4?
Your number 4 is Silverio.
Yeah, I can fix that for you if you want.
This hurts, but I'm going to
your
put...
number 3 is Silverio. Your number 4 is
Riktor
Lopan.
above Silverio.
Oh.
Because of that overall impact range or whatever. Like, actually, I almost was tempted to put him over Simon Phoenix as my number 1 spot, just because of the overall like end game for it. Like, it just wasn't this one chapter of Schism. There's a bunch of them all over the world, so there's a crazy network that's supporting them.
And okay,
This
so
conversation is really difficult because you guys are frozen in space on one frame, so I can't tell if you guys are reacting or not.
he's changing your list in the doc right now.
Wait, so Luther is going to be your number 8. He's under Trauma Terrorist, above Johnny
Yeah,
Wong.
we still have Luther wherever you want to place
Luther.
him. Yeah.
Honorary Dr. Simmons.
Luther's number 7. Yeah, he's underneath the Trauma Terrorists.
All right.
Underneath or above? Because then he's number 8.
Underneath.
Okay.
Yep. Number 8.
All right.
Number 8, yeah.
For me, just to give our listeners an idea, Shonuff is number 1.
Until
Simon Phoenix, Lopan, Silverio.
Ray's tentative list.
Trauma Terrorist, Benedict. Johnny Wong is at the very end.
Anonymously corrected.
Luther and Riktor are the next to put on. I'm going to put push Benedict all the way to the bottom.
What? Really?
No, I'm sorry. Above Johnny Wong, but I meant just above Johnny Wong. So he's number 8.
Okay. I'll say, like, what the fuck?
Johnny Wong is better than Benedict? How?
I'm going to put
How?
Luther and then Riktor. Luther is below the Trauma Terrorist, and Riktor is just above Benedict. That is going to change, but right now that's just how I see it. So
it will change.
It won't change. You won't fucking touch the list, all right? I don't need you fucking it up again.
No goddamn.
So final tally on Riktor's impact on this list.
Appreciation.
Roland has Riktor at number 5. Daniel has Riktor at number 3, and I have Riktor at number 7. I'm gonna prepare a bit more for the next episode and have a real explanation as to why some of these are placed where they're at. But right now, I'm just going off the cuff. So I think for sure, Riktor is better than Benedict and Johnny Wong. I think personally. So
I agree.
Easy.
That's why he's number 3 now on my list.
I'd say
my list has always been like dictated by
absolutely
the
better
like scale Silverio. Of impact of these plans if they succeeded.
Right.
I mean, technically, Riktor's plan succeeded, right? He made
it's in play. It hasn't completely succeeded yet.
Well, it outlived him. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So, do you guys think there's going to be a sequel?
Hey, Daniel Radcliff looks like a new action star, so I mean, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
He's going to be on the hunt for the next Schism person in charge.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be.
No,
I don't think there's going to be.
Absolutely not.
Unless they bring back Glenjamin, then I'd be down for that.
That would be sweet, man.
He becomes his Q. He gives him all of his
his Lucius Fox of homelessness.
They're gonna bring back Samara Weaving as a hologram or some shit. I don't know.
Fucking cool.
All right, that'll be it for this episode of Guns Akimbo. Check it out. It is on Amazon Prime. You don't have to pay for it. If you have Prime, you can see it for
you're
free.
already paying for it if you got Prime.
Or if you choose some other avenue in which to watch this movie.
Good luck.
We don't question any of it.
We don't judge.
Just watch
we don't
it.
care. Do what you want.
Just watch the goddamn movie. Okay, that's it for us. My name is Ray.
This is Roland.
And Pacific Northwest.
Daniel.
All right, we'll see you on the next one. Again, we will announce the next movie. We don't know what it's going to be yet, but we are starting the new trilogy for our horror trilogy section, and that is with Evil Dead.
Yeah, it seems that like our trilogies have been easier to drum up than the solitary movie titles for the most part.
Well, yeah, I mean, the trilogies themselves were planned out beginning of December of last year. So I mean,
like Guns Akimbo came up like last week.
Yeah,
yeah. These movies are a bit. They're kind of just mention, and then we kind of just do them.
Yeah, we just bullshit on Facebook way too much amongst each other, and that's when we start spitballing ideas.
And just to mention to anyone out there who actually does listen to the very end of this episode, we even take suggestions. We've been suggested hard boiled in the past, and we did it. That was the next episode we did. So if you have something,
was a good excuse for me to check it out again.
If you have any suggestion you want to give to us, more than likely we will incorporate it in the next episode.
Probably.
So
yeah, we have very little reason to not cover stuff y'all want to see if y'all have or listen to.
Right. If you'd like to hear what
we've
we have
covered
to say
something
about
you
it.
dig, like we're down.
Or trash it.
All right, and we have 3 movies left in the best or worst villains segments, I guess, or episodes. And of course, the bonus episode will be the official completed list from each of us of the villains, and we will give our. We're pretty much going to debate as to why certain villains are ranked.
Basically, the argument is going to be why Rey and Daniel are wrong and I'm right. And they're going to make a lot of noise and yada, yada, yada. I win. The end.
Well, that sounds like the tone of the Conquered, Roland.
I am resigned to my fate of winning.
All right.
Of being a bitch, we know.
Till next time.
See ya.